Before you scroll, before you forget, ask yourself this: what if the final warning you've been waiting for has already come, and you ignored it? What if the signs were not just symbolic but specific, and you've been too distracted to see them? This isn't fear-mongering. This is a message every soul must hear before it's too late. Because the countdown isn't on the clock, it's inside you. There comes a time in every era, in every civilization, when the collective soul reaches a point of no return, when the noise of the world drowns out the whisper of the divine, when the speed of life outpaces the rhythm of truth. And in that silence comes a warning. Not to punish, not to threaten, but to wake, to shake, to burn away illusion and call the human spirit home to itself. This message is not religious, is not political. It is eternal. It is personal. If you are hearing this, it's not an accident. The timing is divine. The urgency is real. And the responsibility is now yours. Number 1. Silence is the new signal. We live in a world addicted to noise. Notifications, opinions, algorithms, and artificial urgency flood our senses from dawn to dusk. The world has become so loud, so invasive, that we've forgotten what real direction sounds like. But hear this truth: divine signals rarely shout. They do not beg for your attention. They whisper. They wait. They reveal themselves in the stillness you keep running from. Not constantly doing something. You are not constructing things out of nothing. You are not constructing things out of nothing. There is no such thing. God's warning is not going to come through the TV, the trends, or the top 10 podcasts. It's not in the crowd. It's in the quiet. The signal is inside you, but it's being drowned by the volume of a world that thrives on your distraction. When was the last time you sat in silence, not for performance or relaxation, but for truth? When was the last time you let stillness confront you instead of entertain you? That unease you feel in moments of silence is not boredom, it's buried truth rising to the surface. But instead of listening, you run. You run into noise, into scrolling, into busyness, into people who echo your distractions and keep you from waking up. The final warning for many won't come as a voice from heaven, but as a moment when they finally realize they've ignored too many signs for too long. The sickness in your spirit is not random. The disconnect you feel isn't because you need more pleasure, success, or approval. It's because you've ignored the inner compass that has been trying to guide you toward alignment since the beginning. Silence is the only place it speaks clearly. But silence is uncomfortable for the ego, because in silence, your masks fall, your excuses echo, your illusions lose their power. In silence, you are forced to feel. And feeling is the beginning of remembering. You remember who you are. You remember what you were sent here for. And that remembrance will destroy everything you build around your false self. That's why so many resist it. That's why the world wants you busy. You can't be controlled when you hear your soul. You can't be manipulated when you sit with truth. This is the warning. If you do not create silence, your soul will begin to scream through crisis, through disease, through collapse. It will get your attention one way or another. So choose silence before silence chooses you. Make it a sacred ritual, a return to the divine conversation between your soul and its source. Start with 1 minute a day. Just 1 minute of honest stillness. Not asking, not planning, just listening. Let silence be your teacher. Let it dismantle everything you thought was important. Let it awaken your senses again. Because inside that silence, you will hear what no guru, no system, no motivational speech can teach you. You will hear what you've always known but buried. That's the real voice of God. Not some distant thunder, but the quiet conviction that rises when you stop running. That voice will not flatter your ego, but it will free your spirit. It will not make you comfortable, but it will make you clear, and clarity, not comfort, is the beginning of transformation. So, if you're looking for direction, don't chase the next trend. Don't beg for signs. Don't wait for a burning bush. The signal is already here, but it only speaks in stillness, and those who cannot hear in the quiet will be lost in the noise. Choose silence, because the truth isn't coming, it's been here, waiting for you to stop long enough to receive it. Number 2, what you refuse to face will destroy you. There is no enemy greater than the truth you keep running from. You can avoid it, cover it up, silence it with noise, or bury it beneath ambition, but it will not disappear. It waits, it watches, and over time, it grows stronger. Not to punish you, but to protect the part of you that still remembers who you were meant to become. We are not destroyed by what happens to us. We are destroyed by what we refuse to acknowledge. The pain you ignore becomes the pattern you repeat. The trauma you suppress becomes the lens through which you see life. And the emotions you bury become the illness you carry. You think the storm is out there, but the real storm is inside. The accumulation of every wound, every lie, every broken promise to yourself. And until you turn around and face it, it will chase you through your relationships, your work, your nights, your dreams. This is not punishment. This is the mercy of the divine, refusing to let you live below your purpose. But denial is a drug. It seduces you with temporary comfort. It lets you pretend everything is fine while your soul quietly starves. You distract yourself with busyness, numb yourself with pleasure, surround yourself with people who won't challenge you, and lie to yourself in elegant ways. I'm okay, I'm just tired. It's not that deep. But beneath those statements lies a silent scream, the truth begging to be seen. And here's the warning: whatever you refuse to face will grow in the dark. It will gather strength while you delay, and eventually it will erupt, not as a whisper, but as a breakdown. It might be a collapse in your health, your relationships, your peace. The warning comes long before the destruction. The divine always warns before it rearranges. And if you won't listen to the whisper, it will come as a roar. But facing your truth is not about punishment. It's about purification. It's about going into the shadows and realizing they are not there to kill you, but to cleanse you. It's about seeing that your pain is not your identity. It is the part of you calling for liberation. The anger you carry is not who you are. It is the armor you wore to survive. The armor you wore to survive, and now you're being asked to take it off. You cannot heal what you will not feel. You cannot grow where you will not go. And you cannot rise while dragging the weight of your unspoken truths. This is your moment to stop running, to stop blaming, to stop pretending. Stand still. Look yourself in the mirror and say it. Say the truth you've never admitted. Say what hurts. Say what you're afraid of. Because in that confession is your cleansing. The truth does not destroy you. It destroys what is false in you. And when the false burns away, the soul awakens. You become whole. Not perfect, but real. And real is rare. Real is powerful. Real is where God meets you. So face it. The fear, the shame, the failure, the regret, the confusion, all of it. Walk straight into it. Because everything you want, peace, clarity, freedom, is on the other side. There is no other path. Only through. What you refuse to face will destroy you. But what you choose to face will transform you. That's the true pillar of my modern life premise. That's the true pillar of my modern life premise. That's the true pillar of my modern Number 3, your comfort is a cage. You've been told to chase comfort, that if you find the right job, the right home, the right partner, the right rhythm, then you'll finally arrive. You'll be safe. You'll be happy. But here is the divine contradiction. The more you pursue comfort as your goal, the further you drift from your purpose. Because true purpose was never meant to be comfortable. It was meant to be awakening. And the truth is, comfort, when left unchecked, becomes a cage. A silent prison built from routines that numb you, relationships that require your smallness, habits that drain your spirit, and a daily life that feels safe but suffocating. You don't notice the bars at first. They look like stability. They look like rest. But over time, your soul begins to shrink, to fit the dimensions of your fear. You stop dreaming bold. You stop speaking truth. You stop feeling alive. And then you wonder why you're restless even when nothing is wrong. Why you're exhausted when you've done nothing that matters. Why you feel like something's missing even though the world says you have enough. The answer is simple. Your comfort zone has become your dead zone. And the voice inside you, the one that still remembers your fire, is trying to wake you up. It's the whisper of unrest that comes in the middle of the night. It's the irritation you feel when you see someone living freely while you tiptoe around your own life. It's the ache in your gut when you realize you've built your entire world around avoiding discomfort rather than embracing growth. But the divine doesn't call you to comfort, it calls you to become. And becoming is uncomfortable. It requires you to let go of everything you settled for when you stop believing in who you were becoming. It will ask you to leave what is familiar, to speak when it's easier to stay quiet, to walk away when others want you to stay, to take the risk that doesn't come with guarantees but comes with growth. This is the great warning. If you let comfort guide your life, your spirit will wither in silence. You'll keep repeating the same year, hoping for different results. You'll keep dreaming of freedom while building walls with your own hands. Comfort is not peace. It is the illusion of peace. And illusions always collapse. Eventually, the soul rebels. The body breaks down. The mind becomes anxious. Not because something is wrong, but because something is missing. That missing piece is your courage. The part of you that once said, there has to be more than this. And there is. But you'll never find it inside your cage. You must disrupt the pattern, break the routine. Say yes to what scares you. Take the step you've been avoiding. Move toward the unknown, not because it's easy, but because it's real. And real is what your soul craves. You were not designed to die slowly in a life that asks you to shrink. You were meant to expand, to rise, to walk the narrow path where truth lives. Will it be hard? Yes. Will you lose people? Maybe. Will you be scared? Absolutely. But that fear is a compass. It points directly toward your growth. So instead of resisting it, follow it. Let it stretch you. Let it refine you. Let it build you. because on the other side of discomfort is clarity, strength, joy, presence, and the feeling of being fully alive. That's what you're missing when you live only for ease. That's what's calling you now. Your comfort is a cage, but the door has always been open. All that's left is the courage to walk out. Number 4. You were not meant to fit in. There's a reason you've always felt different. A reason you can walk into a room full of people and still feel alone. A reason you've questioned things others accept, desired depth in a world chasing surface, and hungered for something real in a time where most are addicted to pretending. That reason is this: you were not meant to fit in. You were meant to wake others up. You carry something ancient in you, something sacred that doesn't bend easily to the world's games. But from the moment you opened your eyes in this life, the world started teaching you how to forget, how to be quiet when your spirit wants to roar, how to behave when your soul wants to rebel, how to conform when you were made to create. And so you learned to silence yourself in the name of survival. You traded authenticity for acceptance. You dimmed your light so others wouldn't feel blind standing next to you. You learned to walk on eggshells in spaces where you were meant to stand firm in truth. But no matter how hard you tried to belong, there was always a quiet ache inside you, one that whispered, "This isn't it." That whisper was never wrong. It was your soul resisting the lie that fitting in is the goal. It was God's fingerprint on your life reminding you you were set apart. Not to be arrogant, not to be above others, but to be awake when the world is asleep. To carry a frequency that others have forgotten. And that burden is not easy. It's lonely, it's painful, you will be misunderstood, you will be mocked. People will try to reduce you to something familiar because your depth confronts their numbness. But that's the price of walking the path of awakening. You cannot wake others up if you are busy trying to be light. You cannot carry divine truth if you are addicted to fitting in with a culture built on illusion. The warning is this: in your attempt to be accepted, you may abandon your assignment. You may shrink so far you forget how to stand tall. You may lose yourself trying to become who the world says you should be. And then, years later, you'll wonder why you feel hollow despite doing everything right. The truth is, you were never meant to blend in. You were sent here to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. You were sent here to walk differently, speak differently, think differently, not to provoke but to liberate. Your presence is a mirror. It reveals what others have buried, and that can be unsettling. But don't confuse rejection with misalignment. Don't take the discomfort others feel around your truth as a sign that you're wrong. Sometimes your authenticity will irritate those still hiding. Sometimes your clarity will offend those still lost, and that's okay. You are not here to perform. You are here to embody. You are not here to fit in. You are here to break the mold. And when you finally stop trying to belong, you will begin to attract your real tribe. Those who recognize your frequency without words, who see your fire and add wood to it, not water. But that begins with a decision. The decision to stop betraying yourself for approval. The decision to walk alone if necessary. The decision to let go of fitting in so you can rise into your real form. Because your power isn't in your sameness, it's in your difference. Your healing isn't in your compromise, it's in your courage. Your calling isn't in the crowd, it's in your quiet obedience to the truth within you. So if you've always felt like you don't belong, stop trying to. You were not meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out for a reason far greater than your comfort. You were meant to shine, not for attention, but for awakening. Walk your path, speak your truth, and let the world adjust. Number 5, time is not on your side. You've been living like you have forever, like tomorrow is promised, like your calling has no deadline. But here's the truth that too many run from. Time is not on your side. It never was, it never will be. And the longer you pretend it is, the more of your life will be wasted on distractions, delays, and decisions made in fear. You do not have infinite time to become who you were meant to be. You do not have unlimited years to heal, to forgive, to speak, to build, to change. Every breath you take is one less breath you'll get. And the tragedy of modern life is this: people die full of potential, buried under excuses, their gifts still locked inside them, their purpose left unfinished, not because they didn't have time, but because they never respected it. Time is sacred. It's the one thing you can never buy back. And yet, you trade it so casually for comfort, for approval, for scrolling through other people's lives while ignoring your own. You say someday like it's a place on the calendar. You say later as if that moment belongs to you. But time, it's a river, not a lake. It doesn't move and it doesn't turn around. If you don't move now, it moves on without you. The dreams you've shelved, the courage you've postponed, the change you keep saying you'll start next week, those are all slipping away with every tick of the clock. And here's the divine warning: you will run out. Not in tragedy, but in silence. One day, you'll wake up, and there won't be time left to become the person you could have been. You'll look back at years spent playing small and realize that fear didn't save you, it stole everything. You don't need more time, you need more urgency. Because life doesn't reward those who wait, it rewards those who move, who act before they're ready, who take the risk, who honor the fire inside instead of suffocating it with hesitation. Time is not your enemy, but it is your test. It reveals what you really value, not by what you say, but by what you give your hours to. Do you give them to gossip, distraction, bitterness, or self-pity? Or do you pour them into becoming someone who honors the breath they've been given? You say you want to change, but how many more years will you sacrifice on the altar of fear? You say you want to live fully, but how many more days will you waste in spiritual sleep? You think you'll have time to fix it later, to chase it later, to make peace later, but later is not a guarantee. It's a gamble, and every day you delay is a day you can never reclaim. The deepest regret isn't what you did, it's what you never did. The words you didn't say, the path you didn't walk, the version of you that never lived outside your imagination. And one day, when time runs out, all the things you feared will vanish. And all that will remain is whether you answered your calling or not. This is your wake-up call. Stop postponing your soul. Stop living like you're immortal. Start moving like every second matters, because it does. Not for the world's applause, but for the peace of knowing you gave everything. You lived awake. You didn't let time slip through your fingers while you waited for perfect conditions. There will never be a perfect moment, only this one. And it's enough. Use it. Own it. Honor it. Because time is not on your side, but truth is. Purpose is. God is. They're called to action. Purpose is. God is. If you rise now, if you act now, if you stop wasting and start building, if you stop waiting and start becoming. This is not pressure, this is power, and it's yours if you choose to move now. Number 6. Judgment is already happening. Most people think judgment is some distant event, some future reckoning in the afterlife, a divine trial with thrones and thunder where your life is reviewed like a movie and verdicts are handed down. But that belief is a deception, a delay tactic, a myth we cling to in order to avoid the truth that's far more confronting. Judgment is already happening, right now, every single day. Not in a courtroom of angels, but in the quiet chambers of your conscience, in the unrest in your chest when you betray what you know is right, in the weight in your spirit when you ignore your calling, in the anxiety that creeps in when you perform for the world while your soul starves in silence. This is not a punishment from outside, it's a warning from within. Your life is already speaking the sentence. Every thought you choose to believe, every choice you make in fear, every time you lie to yourself or delay your destiny, these are acts of judgment. They shape you. They reveal you. And over time, they build the life you either suffer from or rise in. You're not waiting for judgment. You're walking in it. And the signs are everywhere. Look at your peace. Look at your energy. Look at the alignment between your values and your actions. That's the verdict. The emptier you feel after achieving more, the louder your spirit is screaming that you're off course. The more you pretend, the more exhausted you become. That's judgment. That's the truth you've buried rising to the surface, not to shame you, but to save you. Because the most merciful form of divine judgment doesn't destroy you, it exposes you. It tears the masks off. It calls you back. But here's the warning. If you keep ignoring these internal judgments, they will start manifesting externally. In your relationships, in your health, in your finances, in your sense of meaning. Life will not let you lie forever. God doesn't need to strike lightning to judge you. He simply lets you feel the consequences of every misalignment you refuse to correct. That is divine order. That is justice. Not as punishment but as restoration. Your soul doesn't want revenge. It wants alignment. And judgment is how it calls you home. The question is, will you listen now or will you wait until everything collapses? You don't need a prophet to tell you the truth. Your body already knows. Your mind already knows. The tension, the illness, the inner fatigue, it's all communication. Your lack of peace is your real verdict. That moment when you can't sleep at night, not because you're too busy, but because something inside you knows you're not living truthfully. That's judgment. And yet it's not final, because every moment you're alive is a chance to step back into alignment, to come clean, to tell the truth to yourself, to repent, not as guilt, but as turning back to your original design. But first, you must stop waiting for some cosmic gabble to fall. You must stop thinking judgment is later, it's now. It's in every yes you say to the wrong thing. It's in every no you whisper to your calling. It's in your hesitation, your self-betrayal, your silence when truth needed your voice. That's not just a mistake, it's spiritual drift. But you can return. You can wake up. You can say no more and start realigning with what you already know deep down is right. That's not condemnation, that's grace. That's the mercy of divine judgment. It doesn't crush you, it convicts you so you can rise. So you can course correct while there's still time. The world may not see the war within you, but you do, and so does the divine. Stop pretending the verdict hasn't been written in your daily life. Read it, respond to it, redeem it. Judgment is not coming.